Hello folks, welcome to this session. I think it's been last 3 days since I have not done a lot of prep because I had other tasks to be done. So I'm back to the chess prep and today's the opening day. So we're going to work on openings. So I'm going to spend around 30 minutes to 40 minutes on games and this thing, and then I'm going to work on my openings. This time I'm going to still stick to analyzing the Catalan structure. So let's start off with the warm-up puzzle streak warm-up that we typically do. I'm already on 16 here, so we have this check, skewer, and I win the rook. Yeah, I don't think so it's a problem. Check, skewer, and I win the rook, and I'm queening. So if you take it, then I queen. So then you have a check, and then I just go back somewhere. Then it goes. So that works. So let's look at this position right here. So I have this mating idea. Is there a way to stop this? I'm threatening this. Go here also. This I don't see a way to stop this mate. Okay, you can give me a free piece to stop the mate, or you can say delay the mate in this case. So here we have pawn queening. And we need to find a way to progress. This check doesn't work. This check. Rook takes, queen takes, check. Rook takes, check. Rook into f2 plus king here. I have this check. Then the king has too many squares. Sorry, not this. But it has. Okay, not this either. You can go back or go here. Okay, let's see. If he goes here, then we have this check. So he probably goes here. The queen's here. King is here. I have this check. King goes somewhere. I'm not seeing the mate here. Not seeing the mate, folks. So it's the problem. So my idea was rook takes f2, rook takes f2, rook takes f2, king takes f2, and then I have this check, and then I don't have a great continuation check after that. I'm not able to see the continuation in this position. Alright folks, let's try. Okay, let's take a second here. Still need the king exposed. Oh, king check. Okay, alright folks, so we messed up in the first few minutes, the second puzzle as such. This is easy, of course. We're restarting the warm-up, so it becomes fairly easy. As you can see, simple fork here. I go here, then he has this fork, then takes, and you still lose the queen. So I want to first give him a check, which has to be taken, and then I can get the queen. Fork. Is it really a fork? I can simply take it, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, doesn't make sense. Wishful thinking, mating 1. Here we have mating 1. Here we have a 4. Can you win the rook? more. We can just block and we can simply queen. So yeah, I think the puzzles are fairly straightforward because we're just starting off fresh. Isn't this rook lost at the end of the calculation? Queen into queen, and then rook into, then I take this rook. Basically just, oh no. I think it's queen into queen. And then we lose this rook at the end of the calculation. Here we have a simple way to queen because you don't have the time to stop the queening. So as you can see, the first few are fairly easy, not that tricky. Mate in 1. Here we have a mate. Is it a mate? Yeah, it's a mate in 1. This doesn't work, so we do this and everything is covered. So here we have back rank issues. Oh, this queen is pinned. So you get the queen. Check. We have this check. I think it's a mate in 1 again. So alright folks, let's do let's try to reach 20. As you can see, I'm a little not in the greatest forms because of the fact that I haven't practiced for the last 3 days, but I think this pawn is simply winning. So okay, here we have check, rook takes, then nothing, so it doesn't work. Check. I think it's a simple mating sequence here. I mean queen first, so it's 2 queens too far away. Okay, alright folks, we've done a good amount of puzzles. Of course I just blundered a single move thing because of pre-moving in the puzzle streak. So let's look at the puzzles now. As I said, today we are going to do the openings. So I'm going to do an opening puzzle we are trying to learn the Catalan, not Catalan opening. So we are going to try and understand this opening by doing a few puzzles on this opening. We are now looking at from the black side. It doesn't matter what side you look at. We still understand the structure. So typically the structure works. This pawn opens up, you have the queen's gambit structure, and this bishop sits on g2, opening this up. So typical thing. So the opponent is just quickly trying to castle, white castles, and still white is trying to open up this and create some activity. Here my bishop is bad, exchanged it off. So of course you have 2 ways to play this: bishop a3 or queen c2, targeting this pawn, and there's no good way to defend it. Yeah, that doesn't work. You simply lose that pawn. So white's doing okay, and then all maneuvering happening to okay. Why was this done? Okay, it's a pinning. It's a good one, a nice move from black. We cannot play this because of the fact that the rook could pin, but it's a check. We could have still taken this check, king takes, and then move the queen away. But anyways, there was a free pawn on the offering which was taken, and then as I said, now if you look at the pawn situation, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, so equal, everything's equal, just that the white development is questionable at this point of time. The bishop's not out, the knight's not out. Knight is being controlled by this pawn, but this pawn's going to fall soon. Rook takes, but I think there's a problem with this rook takes because it's discovered here. Queen takes. Now this is pinned. Again, no, not easy. Yeah, but it's pinned, but there's no restriction for the queen to move around. Queen goes back. Correct, queen goes back. And here we pause to see if we have something good to play. Don't we have this fork and we win one of the rooks? I think that is what it is. Okay. Alright, so he does have this option here of bishop coming in here and putting this. I didn't see, so fortunately, as you can see, that I'm a little rusty. We're doing this mistake. It's not a mistake, but I didn't see it, which I should have. But what stops me from putting it somewhere? Okay, the question is where somewhere. Yeah, I'll put it. I cannot come here, here, here. I can come here. I cannot come here, 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 here. So basically, I only single move. No. That's because when you take it, we have this fork which ensures that I get the queen. In fact, I can just exchange this off and play this one in. It takes, I take, and it's completely winning. Okay, great folks. I think I missed the further calculation of the fork that existed. So again, let's look at the objective. Of course, not just the puzzle, but to understand the structure. Let's understand the structure first of all. Yeah, that's typical standard opening. For the exchange, generally you play queen c2, we try to defend. This is not a good news, folks. The king is in the center. It's fairly aggressive. I lose the rook, lose the knight. It's mate in one threat. Oh my god, this is messy, extremely messy situation. Of course, if you look carefully, we realize that black is completely lost on material. We are a complete rook down, but we are trying to create some play. This kills it for us because I have a mate in one threat, and if he takes it, then I have this mate coming in this direction. So it's this interference. No, not the interference. Wow. What? Why? I just didn't understand why the interference wasn't working. So of course, you know, there is a reason why it did not work. Oh, he will not do this and I cannot. Okay, the problem is this. My king is overexposed, so I had to play something slightly more obvious. But why can't I play this now? Okay, the knight is protecting that square. Interesting, folks. So of course I'm not getting the gist of the situation. I'm not getting the idea. So okay, so we exchanged this way, and okay, the rook lift. Interesting. I'm not sure it's a great exchange, but of course we had some ideas. Why can't I do this check? Is what I'm not understanding. Why is the check not working? I have this check and the king goes out. Queen check. King goes out, the only move. agree that I don't have a great continuation after that, and if I don't have any continuation, the rook swings in and the queen's lost. So that is the problem. Just not getting it, folks. As you can see, it's a bit rusty today. I'm not getting this idea on how to be spinned. Not helping as such, but let me see. Yeah, I thought so. It was a forced maneuver. Now the problem, of course, is the continuation. Why don't I just play the rook here? Knight can't take it, bishop can't take it, so I think the rook comes here. No. Okay. How does this help? I just sacrificed a queen. This, yeah, no. We get back the queen. Okay, it's really messy. As you can see, I had 3 questions, 3 puzzles, but I have had a really tough day. I have not been able to get. Let me create a game. 5+3, a blitz game. And let me slowly think. I have been playing a little fast, so I want to slow down my game and play the Catalan. Yes, this is what I have been trying to do. Put the bishop in, the knight in. Yes, now how do I recover this? Alright folks, so I need to block this move and then play the queen here, targeting this pawn. Interesting. So I lost one more pawn. So as you can see, I'm a bit rusty, but I think I'm okay. It's not really a bad situation to be. I don't want to exchange, of course. I have this neat little discovery planned. My bishop can come in. So okay, I agree that I have had 2 pawns loss. I may recover one of them. May, there's no surety yet. Knight can jump in here. Still have the discovery lined up. I can maybe first put my bishop in a better square. It doesn't have a mate, so I'm fine. I can still target this. I have okay, let's target this pawn. I still have this discovery. I still have this castle, so looks like, you know, not a great place to be at this point in time on push. Okay, so I can do this. Completely lost. I think I can resign here, folks. Really pathetic game. I think, yeah, I've been losing. Here I was fine. I should have simply castled. I was still fine. Here is where I missed this move and lost the queen completely. Okay, alright folks, let's play one more game. As you can see, I've been a bit rusty, but I'm going to come back stronger, folks. Let's fight a few games. It's all about fighting through the tough days where you're still very rusty, getting back into the groove. Let's open with the Sicilian Khan, and yeah, this is the open Sicilian if you opposite. Once this comes in, the bishop is not opening along this diagonal. So let me just close out the center, folks. I just don't care. I'm going to just open in the center. And okay, so he's offered me this exchange. And I'm just going to play. Okay. Why would this work? Okay, so let me just play this. Okay. Just not sure what I'm doing, folks. Alright, so I think I've stabilized the situation. There's nothing massively going wrong. I have this check here. If he tries to do this, yes, so I need to close this up and this up. Oh, what a bad start. I should have played it here. Yeah. I just want to get out of the pin. Nothing else, just survive the opening. Get that out of the way. Oh my god. Just no idea. The bishop gets out, the knight gets out. Post exchange. He has his fork. Need to defend. I lose a pawn. And the day just got worse. Right out of the opening, messing it up again. I don't know, folks, what I'm doing in terms of the way the games are progressing. Okay, simply goes back. I push this up, kick this guy away. Has this, but then I have this. I'm just gonna try to simplify. This knight has to come out some way, somewhere. This knight has to go somewhere. I just don't have places to go. Okay. add structure. Okay, okay, away of the hook. This is better than what we had bargained for. We are up 2 pawns down, targeting to take another pawn, and yeah, it may take me some time to improve from the current position that I am, but it's not lost. Suddenly I think he had like a simple way to continue. He did not do that and gave me the opportunity to come back into the game. I think there was something issues there. Now I need to find a way to activate this knight. I cannot go there, so I come this way. Activate the knight. Match goes on. Crazy. Simply crazy. Okay. Does not have a way to defend this pawn. He has this here. This here I take double check, I take double check, take double check, then I just move away. I lose this, then I lose this. Okay, no issues, let's try. Anyways, it's a lost game, I feel. Double check. No, not a double check, allowing me to play this. Okay, no, the pin is not there. Single pawn differential, allowing me a few other moves. What's under threat? Nothing's under threat. Setting up a discovery. Okay. Setting up a discovery. Queen is precariously placed. This rook is dead. This knight is dead. Come on, folks. Okay, losing another pawn, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not losing anything. He's trying to. I'm not losing anything. I'll exchange everything off. I don't care, because as a single pawn differential I can hold this game. The 2 pawn differential, opponent did a blunder, mistake. We got it back. Okay, point being check. Defend this square. That's all I need to do. Defend this square. There's no checks. Oh. This protected is this. Oh, this knight is getting trapped in the middle of the board. Not really. So he has this square. Okay. Let me defend. We won a lost match, to be frank here. Of course, he was still winning. We had like nice little set of moves, but we were, of course, that pawn differential was too much. Kramnik variation. Interestingly, I did a couple of mistakes and blunders. One mistake and one blunder. Let's see. Oh, this is not the way it goes. We have to take it from the other pawn. And then defend. Yeah, I think it's here. Yes. I figured it out right after playing that. Of course, he had a much better move. Here, putting pressure on this and it was lost. He has this. The rook's lost. Oh my god. I had a couple of blunders right at the opening, and of course I had a bit of a struggle here, so I'm going to play one more game, folks, and last game for the day, and then I'm going to go into the opening prep for the opening that we've been trying to look at. I'm not sure it works. No issues, you can take it. I don't like this bishop here. Gonna push and then gonna put this bishop here, this knight here. And then we are good actually. Now this is connected. E1. See here. Get some space advantage on the other side, but we get some space on this side. Not clear what's the future of that. I'm just playing, folks. I have no idea why I'm doing what I'm doing. Here we have... I don't want to open that up. Losing a pawn here. I think I have this. Because this would cause a pin, losing a piece, and yes, this is good. I close this up. Queen takes. My idea being, I take this pawn, threatening it. I still take this pawn, opening that line up. I have this threat, checking this up. I want to open this. King is in the center. I need to open this up. So I was thinking that no, that doesn't work because of this intermezzo. Then I have to check and I pick. I need not pick anything up. I just need to not care about this because queen's up. I know that, but then this is fairly weak. No easy way to continue in this position for black. Yeah, that's not happening. Now this check here and we lose the rook and then the match is pretty much lost. What a comeback, folks. What a comeback. He wants a rematch. But this was, I think, Catalan really showing its colors. So I want to see this is not accurate. I knew that it's not accurate. And I don't like that bishop along that diagonal. I thought I'll kick it out. Again, this is not accurate. I should have upgraded the queen. I played this. He wants me to open the center too early. I did open up the center, waited too long. Finally do that. I should have opened that up. I didn't do that. Now I didn't do that. Now I have that center. I first took it and then opened the center. Opening center breaks has been my weak point. That is a blunder, folks. So I knew this was a blunder because I had this intermezzo check, which I saw. I had a much better move. Yeah, I thought this check, but then I thought the bishop just goes back. Oh yes, I'm much better here. Come on, folks. I saw this. Then I said it was simply much better. I thought I'll get this in. So queen x, rook x, and then I know I have this mate coming along. So I knew this check. Oh, I had to play this check, this check, this check, this check, this here. Queen there. Mate from the middle of the board. Beautiful game, at least for me. Even though I have, of course, had a few really good moves, better moves than what I saw. Actually, I saw them, but I didn't play them. Again, Intermezzo killing this game for me. So as you can see, my Intermezzo antennas are a little better over the last month. That's because I've been working on Intermezzo for a bit. And we've reached this point here where we've been doing this intermezzo training, which has helped us to find some intermezzo positions, helping us to win a few games here there. Discovery is still a problem, which I'm working on. I need to work on. I have been missing a lot of discoveries in the tournaments, in the matches. The next tournament I'm going to play is in a couple of weeks' time, and I need to see how that goes. Okay, thank you, folks. Hello folks, welcome to our opening preparation for the Open Catalan, and we've been trying to understand the Open Catalan a little better. d4, d5, and then let's say we place bishop e7. We looked at that line a bit last time, bishop g2, castles, d into, and we saw that we can do two things here, queen ct, queen c2, knight a3, bishop into, queen into, and then bishop d7. a4 stopping this situation, right? So this is what we saw. Now I want to look at c4, knight f6, knight f3. Let's say here, let me just look at the main lines here to reference. This is the typical Catalan structure. Let's look at this. e6 is by far the most common move, but I want to check this as well. What if they take the pawn right here, right? If it is d into c4, should we directly recapture or should we play something else? You see, the most common line is not a direct recapture. Give up the pawn and play something else. And I really want to analyze the specific structure and how it really works, because the most common move actually attacks this pawn in a different way. And what if they try to hold on to the pawn, right? What if I try to hold on to this pawn, which is a b5? It's a not very common line. It has happened against some of the top players, but I just want to see how did they handle this kind of a structure. So of course I'm going to go for this line. If they take and I just do allow him to get this kind of a situation, I'm not sure who's better, who's worse, but I of course want to see as white who are going to face this. We've had Nikita facing that. We have Matlakov, Zhang Shi facing that against a few of these players. Typically 2-7, 2-6 players have seen a lot of games here. Let me take a result game rather than just open game. Obviously, if this structure does come in, it is typically decently okay for white. It has a 54% result for white, which is a pretty decent result. As such, but I want to see a result game rather than a drawn game. Let's look at the back. Black Elo. Magnus Carlsen lost from this position against Tang Andrew, and he's won against the same position against Tang Andrew. But this is a blitz game, so I'm not sure of the quality. How do you typically continue? You challenge this pawn by playing a4. Why can't I just simply defend it with something like this? Takes. Push. Here, let's push the pawn. Oh, sorry, I think I have a simple check here, and whenever you play, I just capture this pawn. So there's no easy way to hold on to the pawn. So even at c6, I do it. And once I play knight c3, I do get back the pawn. There's no still an easy way to hold on to that before we just get this pawn back. If I open this up, I take one more pawn and then just a pawn up, multiple pawns up, and this is not a good position to be in. So of course, at a4 he played a b4 directly. Interesting. And now I can just take this pawn. And now I have recovered the pawn. He opens this up, defending this pawn. I also have a5 at some point of time. And knight castles, bishop b7, bishop b7. Interesting. I would have thought a bishop here would be a better idea of waiting to castle, but black plays bishop b7, which is theory, by the way. So this is theory, of course. My opening theory is still developing. I don't have a very strong repertoire. I'm just trying to look at middle game and end games to convert. I'm not working on the openings at this point of time because I think that's the bigger gap area is in the middle game. But yes, bishop b7 is theory. Bishop e7 not the best move in this position. Need to see why. What can I do? Okay, so white continues to develop here. I would castle. This bishop is bad. Sorry, bishop is bad. What is theory now? I'm not sure what's actual theory. I can push the pawn. This bishop is in bad shape, so I really would want to do this. Let's say if I do this, hoping to open the bishop some way. Possible line. So bishop b7 was played. Bishop b7, white. I want to develop this bishop, but there's no good way to do it. Rook e8 is a possible idea. I would have looked at. And of course, the move that I was thinking earlier was played in the game, b3. Again, just want to get some space for this bishop. And of course, actually what happened is more or less similar to the line that I was looking at. We have the bishop b7 and then we have the b3. And now I think the white castles and black castles and so on and so forth. And as I thought, bishop b2, Tang Andrew plays that, and black castles. I think this seems a logical way to do things. I would want to nb to d2. I would have, of course, the last piece not developed. Here, I think nb to d7. I think very logical. The games moved on logically. No big opening surprises. Bishops are lining up here. This bishop is little passive at this point of time. This bishop being passive, this bishop is active. This bishop can jump in. So I think, as you can see, the white will be marginally better. This is overstretched pawn. I would want to play a5 at some point of time to cement this pawn here. Not sure why it's not being played, but that's a move that you can consider. Queen e2. What I was thinking is if you play queen c2, it's also a possible move. Then I can actually, can't I just cancel this off? This. Why would I cancel this off? So it doesn't work. So of course even queen c2 works, but queen e2 was played. Queen c2 still works. And finally, Carlsen goes for a pawn break. Now this is where, as you know, I have struggled in openings to figure out when to do this pawn break. So Carlsen goes for a pawn break at this point of time. Let's try to take a step back here, folks, and try to analyze why this pawn break is working. Why would a pawn break here work? So Magnus Carlsen thinks that this is the right move here, the right time to go for this pawn break, which I don't understand. Okay, there's a pawn break which is being done, and he responds with Andrew Tang responds with rook fd1. Makes sense. You cannot, if you take it, my bishop just gets the center, right? If you take, then I can just take bishop takes, and I get the center. Perfectly all right. I'll get the other rook into the game, so should be okay. So he plays knight d5. Carlsen plays knight d5, threatening this fork. Yeah, rook ac1, blocking this because you fork. I take, you take, and I take it back. And I think we're fine. I think I'm okay in this position. So he plays rook c8. Rook c8. Rook c8. How does white progress? I cannot take. I can put this knight here, knight here. Interesting. Knight here is a possibility. Putting pressure on this pawn. I can take this. It's also a possibility. White plays h3. Not sure. Queen c7. I think Magnus improves. He says let's put some pressure. Let's get some development done. And now here bishop a6. Interesting pose. Bishop a6 was played. I wouldn't have thought of bishop a6 as a move because then bishop takes, queen takes. Bishop takes, queen takes. How does white continue? I think that's a poor decision. I have to offer exchange here. Sorry, I have to offer an exchange here. I think that's the only way forward. You can play this, causing this movement to happen. But yeah, rook f d8. Bishop a6, rook f d8 was played, saying I'll again centralize. So Magnus Carlsen just continuously improving the position. Makes perfect sense. Bishop x, queen x. Makes sense. Then you play knight c4. Now finally we said enough is enough. Let's put our pieces where they belong. Knight c4. Apparently not the best move. Knight e4 was better. But yes, knight c4 was played. Magnus plays h6. Not sure the best move. Let's hear. So anything is possible. Knight f to e5. So white gets this other knight in to the game. Knight into d into e5. This is spoiling the pawn structure. And then he plays queen c7. Putting pressure on this pawn, but not really. Bishop's protecting it, but knight will close this up and then you can pick it up. So let's say I do some other move here. Let's say king here. Then I think we can. Oh, interesting. Rook takes, rook takes. It's a little difficult to understand. You know, it's fairly a tough position, so I'm not sure. Rook d3 was played. Knight goes in. Okay. So yeah, this makes sense. Knight going in. Asking this question if you take, rook takes. So rook takes a blunder. Oh, because of the spin. So there's a pin there, so rook takes. So the bishop helps here in a way to block this idea. B into c4, knight into a4, and then bishop a1 makes sense. Knight c5, kicking the rook away. Bishop into e into, because now you don't really have the earlier defense. You know, the difference between this and this, if the bishop was there, now bishop a1, this rook itself blocks this. So now I can actually take bishop into e into rook into, and then rook swings into the center. Now if you see this position, we are a pawn down, white's a pawn down, black's a pawn up. So of course black's better at this point of time in terms of material, but the activity wise, this rook is targeting this base pawn controlled by this bishop, which is really critical. He plays g6, apparently not a great idea. g5 was better. Plays g6 seems logical here actually, but opens up this queen threat along this diagonal. Rook f8, king running away, queen comes in, king e8, bishop f6, now totally blocking out the king's escape path. Starting off with this a5, there's nothing more I feel. Bishop e5, bishop e5, I think the queen check was a better idea. King comes in, king continues to check, goes out. Then you can actually take, you can take the pawn. But roughly speaking, it would have been better because the king is on the run. But of course, you go for a material here with bishop f6, bishop f6, rook c2, d8, rook d4, putting pressure, and then he plays. So he plays the same idea, but with not giving enough space for the king. Here you can clearly see it's winning because it's a pin piece. You're losing one more piece, completely lost position, and Magnus resigned. So let's quickly look at the engine and look at my lines. Couple of thoughts that I had using Stockfish to analyze. So what I was thinking here was, why can't you play c6? c6 in fact is Stockfish's most preferred move, with the idea of going to more or less the same line that I looked at here. Instead of b4, he plays queen b6, defending everything, and once you put the bishop on, let's say he plays whatever he plays, I think we are good here. He plays b3 and I play e6, then you take this pawn, then you play bishop b4, pinning, bishop d2, b into c4, bishop into c4, and nb to d7. So here, this is the structure that the engine takes, which is fairly bullish. And in this position, I thought bishop e7 was possible. Bishop e7 is the third best move, second best move. a5 is the best move here for black, not bishop e7. a5, and I was considering a5. Okay, actually bishop e7 is the better move than bishop e7. I was thinking bishop e7, castle, being a very logical way to progress. So, and I thought nb to d2, and then you have the castle here. Okay, so it's great. So I was looking at some of these lines, and here I said queen c2 was possible, not the best kind of position. Queen e2 seems to be the best. And here bishop knight d5, I thought c to d4 is possible as a move, and the engine also says c to d4 is possible as a move, but knight d5 is played, which gives white a slight advantage. Here knight c3 was possible, knight c3 was possible. Here rook f to d8. Bishop x a6 is not working, it gives up most of the advantage. Okay, now it's fine, it's not really that bad. It's here, yeah, it's the fourth best move. Rook f to d8 being the best move, which is what Magnus played. Bishop a6 is possible as a move. Here we said rook f1. Now here this was just a random move to see if there are some possibilities. g6 was played. We saw that g5 or f6. f6 was much better. Why can't f6? Bishop takes. You play rook d7 and you defend it by laterally defending. Was the way to go forward. Queen g8 plus was not the best move. Here the best move was rook b1 or rook a1 was the best move, giving him saying what do you do in this position kind of a question, because whatever you do it'll help me to play on in a better way. Of course bishop e5 was played, not the best one there, but rook b1, a waiting move, that better. Let's say this h5, play rook, rook d4, rook into d4, into d4, 97, queen h8 plus, if it only move c5. This is like some of the cold-blooded moves where you just not bother what's happening in the position and do some pawn moves, wait kind of a situation. Of course the game progressed with Magnus doing a few mistakes and quite easily converting in a blitz game against Magnus Carlsen. That's it for today folks. So I think we've looked at, I don't want to save any of these, we looked at a specific line here with d into c4, e3 and b5, and we looked at a game which gave us a few ideas on how do we handle this kind of a structure. And let's see if we can apply some of this. If something like this comes up in the game, we now know how to